And so they're like, oh my god, go big or go home. So then they one time pump, and it happened to my friend. He lost close to 100 grand and then he went into full depression.
Hi everyone, I'm Annette and welcome back to Real Blue Zone. So with our life expectancy increasing, will we ever outlive our savings? Joining us to discuss this today is none other than Ian Jeevan.
Hey guys!
So we got a money topic today.
I know
I know, I'm horrible at numbers.
Don't worry, I'm also horrible at numbers.
Yeah, when you ask me how much money do I need to retire, I can't come up with a number for you.
But like, there is actually a number, you know.
Oh really?
Yeah, because on the streets, I hear people saying, you know, I need $1 million by the time I retire. Like, to live comfortably lah, depending what kind of retirement lifestyle you want to have, right? So I feel like 1 mil is that big number that most people like have.
But
right.
I'm like, I don't know, I'm the kind of person where I feel stressed tagging a specific number to something because I'm like, you never know. What if inflation gets even worse by then? But we will see what people think about saving. I went out on the streets to ask people, especially some Gen Zs, and we're going to check out their answers right now. How much do you think you spend a month?
200-300.
Around 100 to 200.
I spend around 200 to 250.
Around 600 to 800 per month.
Close to 1K.
Probably 1,500 to 2,000.
Around 2K. Like for 1 month.
So much!
My school like bursary, then I spend it all.
I realized among the Gen Zs, right, the ones who said anything more than 3 digits is because they have some kind of school bursary or some kind of extra. Yeah. But otherwise, it was all a few hundred. Do you think that's normal?
I think for a Gen Z, yeah, it is pretty normal because I feel like what big ticketed items are you buying?
When
you
you're
know?
in school, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so they were all students actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there were a few older people and then millennials and stuff. Then they would spend closer to a few thousand.
Which
a
is
month.
quite reasonable
It's
actually.
also quite reasonable. So
Yeah.
I don't think anyone was spending too lavishly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see what they say about their current saving methods.
Do you also have like a set savings plan?
Banks, they got a saving account, right? Then every month I put $100 inside.
I don't have a savings plan per se, but I do make it a point to like take out a portion of like whatever I like so-called earn from like intern and work.
I just save whatever I have at the end of the week. Like $50 per week from allowance.
I try at least like 150. I endeavor to save about 40% per month of my salary. I think I believe in living in the moment. I think if I save too much, then I'm not actually enjoying life.
I do like invest because I have allowance from my parents, so I invest about half of that.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you personally have a fixed saving method?
Okay, so like there's always this rule, right? The 4-3-2-1. Are you familiar with the 4-3-2-1?
No, what is that?
Okay, so it's like 40% of your monthly income goes into your expenses, 30% is into your wants, and 20% is savings, and then 10% is you kept for emergency fund. Okay, so I mean, that's what I learned when I was a financial advisor. But in reality, to practice this 4-3-2-1 is not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause like-
you need some wiggle room, right? Because
Correct.
sometimes it's not so strict.
But I think another girl who actually invests, I feel like that's actually good. And more younger people are confident about investing rather than just the notion of like our parents' time. Oh, just save in the bank.
Yeah.
Save in the bank. But now you save in the bank, what? You only get like interest rate of like 0.05. Okay, 0.05. That is so little.
I wish when I was younger, I also had more resources to
Yes.
learn more about investing.
Investing.
Yeah, then I would have started earlier also.
Yeah.
But I think it's also a bit of like a double-edged sword. They might also invest in wrong things or like
more like
riskier. Yeah. So
Yeah.
with more information now,
Yes.
it's just you gotta be a lot more discerning.
Correct.
So how much do you think you would need in your bank in order to retire comfortably in Singapore next time?
Wow, I don't know, sia. I will just guesstimate like 1 million.
I really don't know. I think like a few K, like a few 100K.
300 to 500k, I think it's a good amount of range if I really want to spend luxuriously, travel holidays. I think that's a good amount.
700,000. I'm not very sure.
I mean, that's assuming you would say like at the point in time, maybe you already bought your house already, everything.
Oh yeah,
right?
500k. Then like try to invest so that you still get like passive income.
Looking at how things are going right now, above $1 million to retire comfortably. Thinking about healthcare, living, transport costs, and stuff like that, and traveling.
750k and above, $1 million. I say $1 million.
1 to 2 mil.
I think 1 million also, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think people perceive 1 million to be like this big number, you know, like so officially when you have $1 million, you become a millionaire, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they feel like they can retire comfortably, but I mean, some people said you just need like 500k is enough for them, you see? So it depends on your lifestyle as well. If you're going to be frugal, you can make 500k go a long way.
It's true lah. But you see, again, right, I'm not great at thinking how to split my money, which is not a good thing. So for me, I think you give me any amount of money, I'll just try to make it work.
No, but the good thing that these young people have, right, is they have runway, they have time. So you are like in your 20s, and let's say you're gonna retire, let's say by the time you're 60, right? You have about like 40 good years of working to like earn and reach your retirement goal. So if anything, I would say to young people, like start early.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
If one day your parents, they outlive their savings, right? They run out of savings, will you support them?
Of course, I will.
That's a no-brainer. I would have to, I guess.
Yeah, of course. Even if they still got their savings, I will still support them.
Oh wow, just an extra, right? Extra allowance. If we were to flip the question, right? If you guys one day run out of your life savings, do you expect your parents to support you?
Not really. My parents already spend a lot of money to like raise me and stuff. So why should I expect them to like, help me when it's like my own fault when I lose all the money and stuff, you know?
Yeah, my parents said they will. But of course, I'm not. Hopefully, it will not get to that point.
I'd say yes as well because, family would stand by each other and unique circumstances do occur. I would hope that I wouldn't stay in the ditch for too long, get myself out as well. But yeah, I think in moments of crisis, I would expect family members to also pitch in and help out.
Yeah, so this was very interesting. If you outlived your savings, we expect your parents to support you.
Firstly, I wouldn't want to put myself in a predicament to ever outlive my savings.
Yeah.
I think that's like, you need to have like multiple safety nets. But if I was in the event like that does happen, I feel like I would need to suck it up, take a loan, to ask your mom, hey mom, can like transfer me, pay now me $100 this month.
When you're a full-grown adult, right?
Exactly. Oh, paise eh. To really ask parents is like the last resort lah. Cause like I think there are other things you can do. You know, go and find a job. Like if I'm able-bodied person, if I can work, if I can earn money, if I can like ask from my siblings, if I can, you know, cash in some of my investments, sell my unnecessary items.
But you see, that's why I think that leads to almost like we were saying, the investment things.
Correct.
Yeah, it could be more, what if you accidentally lose everything in an investment or something.
So that's the
like
thing. Don't invest money you cannot afford to lose. So like simple principle, like if I'm putting money into this stock market, right, I'm mentally in my head prepared to lose it. The thing that's happening right now is that a lot of youth, they want to chase quick returns.
Yes.
Fast money. And so they're like, oh my God, go big or go home. So then they one time pump, and it happened to my friend. He lost close to 100 grand and then he went into full depression because he put his whole money into the crypto market, and then he made one wrong call. It lost everything. And then he has to like pay for his like monthly bills and everything, even though thankfully he still has a job. But you took so long to earn that money, and just in an instant you lose it. I think it's not so much about like timing the market, but they always say this is time in the market. So if you're going to invest, you have a long-term horizon. Don't be like, I'm going to cash out like 1 week later. No. Yeah. Although it may be tempting when you see like the markets go up, it's green, you want to sell, but I think have a long-term horizon.
Yeah, and if you're like me also, you know, you're just always unsure, you don't know, then just play it safe. Don't even take this kind of risks. Yeah. So I never played crypto that kind before. You played before?
I have.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, but I don't call it playing.
Okay, playing.
But
I don't like when I talk to people, so it's like play crypto.
Play crypto. No. Okay. But I have invested in crypto.
Yeah, but you follow your own rule, which is you will not invest money you're not willing to lose,
correct.
right? So you didn't get yourself into any kind of deep.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to look at some of these topic discussion questions. Is it enough to rely on CPF for retirement in this day and age?
Oof.
If you put a lot of money in your CPF, I think can.
Yeah. Have you heard of like CPF millionaires?
Huh?
Yeah, there are CPF millionaires in Singapore, you know. Like, it's so crazy.
But you can't take it all out at once.
Correct. So that's the thing. Because if you put your money into the CPF OA and SA, you get 4%, 4.14%.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But And that's better than most banks. So it's kind of like you're locking in this money for future. So for me as a self-employed person doing content creation, I contribute CPF on my own accord more than what's required, because I feel like number one, you know, it's saving for my future nest.
Would you rather live frugally and retire early, or enjoy life now and work longer?
I've always had the view of like work, enjoy, work, enjoy. So there's this new age of people who are taking like retirement, like they work, then they retire, work, retire, work, retire.
Oh, so instead of retiring once you're old,
Yes.
you
There's
kind
this
of
new lifestyle of people
get little gaps of retirement.
which is great, no? Because like, why would you want to save up so much and then when you're in that age, and let's be real, right? At 60, can you be doing the
You can't go and
things?
hike a mountain or something.
Hey, you'd be surprised. There are 60-year-olds doing it.
There are, but many
I'm just saying
cannot.
the energy and the ability to like do these things when you're younger. I feel like I don't want to push it off then. And then a 60-year-old guy going Coachella. Let's go! Finally made the bag. Let's go Coachella. And then you pass out because you're like tired and all, you know, you need to take I need to take my medicine, you know.
Oh yeah, then you can't actually enjoy. Oh my goodness, it's true.
right.
So I also
Oh.
believe in enjoy life and work longer.
Yes.
And I think also partially because I do quite enjoy my work. I think we're creative people.
Yes.
So it's like I am able to find work that I enjoy. Of course, sometimes work does get hard and then it does get like tiring. There are moments where it's tiring. But then there are still moments where it's fun also.
Yeah.
So I don't mind. Like I can work longer. Why wait till you're old? Why suffer
right.
your whole entire youth for no reason?
If you could redo your 20s, I'm still in my 20s. Okay, what would you have done differently for your finances? Maybe you should take this
Yeah,
first.
I should take this. No, really, I think I would have read up more about investing. I would have thought through like how I can find alternative sources of income also.
Yeah.
Even now as a freelancer, I don't
Yeah.
just do one thing, you know what I mean? I do like a few different kind of things
Yeah.
so that you give yourself options for like multiple sources of income.
Yeah.
But I think when I was in my 20s, I wish that I also had that mindset where
Yeah.
I'm thinking also of how to diversify my income. What about you?
I think
I mean, okay, you're 20
Yeah.
what now?
I'm 28 going 29.
So then you think about your early
my
20s.
early 20s. Maybe I would have like bought more crypto.
But it's so risky.
But like right at the precipice, like in 2018, I had the opportunity to like invest in crypto, and that's when it haven't fully boom, you know. So, but I just didn't do it because there was a lot of fear. But had I maybe had a bit more open, was a bit more open to the idea of it and invested like not all but some, it would have like really changed the landscape of my financial like right now.
Right.
Yeah, but of course, like I think other practical things would be to, I think like on your point on reading up more. I know it's not a fun topic, you know, like, oh, what book are you reading? It's a book about investing. Wow. But like serious, I feel like that is one thing that I would have like set aside time to read up and equip myself.
Oh, this is a Reddit story. You can read it.
Okay. I'm just really curious about what is considered the norm or the average in terms of saving, excluding CPF, that Singaporeans youth have when they are in their mid-20s. Anonymous A saying that as a rule of thumb, you should have enough savings to tide you over at least 3 to 6 months if you lose your job. Save to be able to handle 12 months of disruption. Thereafter, any amount saved will be used to invest and grow. If I could redo my 20s, I would save my bonus every year instead of spending it. If you want a number, some of my friends had about 30k to 50k by the time they were 28. It's not too difficult if you save $10,000 per year. It's about just $800 a month. Well doable for a professional pay.
This person really thought it out, thought it through.
Yeah.
I do think this is actually particularly important to think about, right?
Yeah.
If you were to do something like quit your job,
Yes.
or
if
say,
you get retrenched.
or
if you
prepare for any unforeseen kind of like losing your employment or something like that.
Correct.
Because if you're just living paycheck to paycheck, if you hate your job, you're just stuck there forever because you're
Yeah.
spending on all these nonsense things
Yeah.
and you can't afford to take a stock, and taking a small break might allow you to actually find a better job where you can earn even more, but you can't even afford to make that transition, then it's bad for you.
And we're talking not just about letting go, but even if, let's say, if you were to get you're sick, if you were to get like unwell and you're not fit to work, you get into an accident. Sometimes your company, and if you're a freelancer like me, you know, like if I cannot like create content, if I'm crippled or something, right, then no money is coming in. So then who's going to be taking care of me? I need to rely on my savings, which is good to have like 3 to 6 months.
Okay. Ooh, another story. To be honest, I think it boils down to poor financial literacy. Most parents never learn from theirs, and the bad habits get passed down to the next generation. I'm going to be 28 this year, and I'm grateful I whipped myself into shape with my finances the moment I started working 2 years back. Managing finances is just the bare minimum. Many older generations really don't understand how to grow wealth. It was much easier back then when saving accounts, fixed deposits, and endowment pays big. That's why they have this fixed response when you ask them how to grow wealth or manage money. Just keep in the bank or buy endowment. Millennials and Zoomers need to learn that. Why was that my boomer voice? I'm sorry. Millennials and Zoomers need to learn that that era is seriously over. Interest rates are rock bottom, and it is necessary to invest to grow wealth.
I relate, man. Yeah.
Yeah. This person has also thought it through.
I think the part on poor financial literacy, like no one in school like taught you how to.
Yes. Why can't there be a subject in school about how to pay your taxes, how to manage your money, how to save?
Yes, that would really like start the kids from a young age. You know, like they have this habit, you know, of saving.
Okay, but I had when we were in primary school,
Piggy
we had
bank,
the saving, the squirrel.
The ting tong,
You know the squirrel? Do you all know the squirrel?
Oh, is it the POSB one?
Yeah.
POSB squirrel. Yeah.
There was the squirrel.
There was like campaign, right?
But it was this like kid, so it was trying to introduce kids to saving. So it was this squirrel mascot, and it was like save money. But it was so basic.
Okay.
I feel.
Even in university, like no one teaches you. You're just kind of expected to like go and find out this information by yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so right now, producer has given us this expert insight from Ng Kok Song about financial literacy. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah.
Whatever you earn, don't spend more than 2/3 of what you earn. Save 1/3, because you will need that 1/3 in times of difficulty. And also, the 1/3 that you save gives you optionality, flexibility. If the boss makes life very difficult for you, you can quit, accept maybe a lesser paying job until you find another job. Cost of living varies from person to person. It depends on what you consume, what you spend your money on. That's why I come back again to this principle of frugality. Spend on what is essential, especially in difficult times.
Yeah, that was kind of what I mentioned just now also, right? About if you have a good amount of savings, you can quit your job when you want to find something better.
Actually, there's a term for it. I don't know if I can say it, but it's called like you money. Basically, that's a term that like friends in the finance business, once they have built their FU money, they can just throw their paper and leave.
Yeah, it's true. Because you don't want to, like we were saying, it'll be a vicious cycle. You'll just be stuck in a place where you're unhappy. And then who knows, if you left, you could actually find a place that maybe pays you better.
So do you think it's harder to save because we have more temptations? Example, online shopping, TikTok trends. I honestly feel yes. Like
right.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I was just talking to a few people the other day. Last time my friend was saying that she's this shopping addiction because she just buys all sorts of nonsense online.
And you know how easy with Apple Pay now? It's just with click of 2 buttons, you've already bought the item.
In fact, Dewy, I was talking to Dewy on the other podcast, and I think off camera, she's saying, she buys a lot of things on TikTok because it's so easy. You just click and you get
have it in like 2-3 days.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, you know, like we need to actively like ask ourselves, like, and I try to practice delayed gratification.
It's true. Okay, so I also have this thing where I wish list things, and then I'll just put it into a shopping tab. It's a bookmark tab.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll come back whenever I'm free, and then I'll look at some of these stuff. And some of it I'm just like, I think actually it was cool at the moment I saw it. It was just like it was a fleeting moment. Then I just close it and I delete it.
And I really feel for today's generation all the more because we are constantly being sold something. You know how many, there was this statistic.
Why? Because of social media?
Yeah. No, social media alone, not just social media alone. Like even when you're walking, right, you know how many ads you see in a day? Like I was recently using my Grab app. There are ads on Grab app now. And like you're selling me a freaking Dyson. Like I don't need a Dyson hair straightener.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a cab to go home.
Exactly. So right now, all these companies, they are very smart. Okay, with AI, everything, they're using all these they're listening to our conversations as well. You be talking about something, I swear to you, now we mentioned Dyson, right? Later, one of you here in the room, you're going to receive a Dyson ad. So we need to arm ourselves as consumers to not just spend mindlessly. Because if you're going to constantly keep buying stuff, it's your paycheck it's your credit card that's going to hurt.
Yeah, I think actually this generation, right, what we really need is to be hyper aware of when you are being marketed to.
Correct.
Because it's all the time.
You're bombarded, I think 11,000 ads a day. You see 11,000 ads.
If you could swap your financial position with someone from another generation, would you?
King Solomon from...
from the biblical times.
Biblical times.
I would do that as well.
The richest man alive.
I feel like this is a Gen Z perspective question.
Yes.
Because they say that for Gen Zs, it's hard to even save because it's the cost of buying something is so much higher than... for the previous generations. If I were a boomer generation and I bought a house, it was attainable, it felt more attainable. But right now it's because the housing's so saturated. If I save and save and save, I probably can't buy. What if I just rented? That kind of mentality, it seems so unattainable.
I would probably swap my financial position with someone who was from the 80s. Someone born in the 80s, because they went through the dot-com crash, and then they felt it. They felt the 2008 crisis as well, the mortgage crisis and the subprime mortgage crisis. And these were two pivotal events that could have made people in the 1980s a lot of money. Sorry, I had a British accent there for a bit. But a lot of money. Because they graduated right at the time when the dot-com, they were studying then, and then by the time they started working, they were 2008, they were in their early 20s then. If they had invested then, at the subprime mortgage crisis, they make a lot of money now.
It's hard for me to answer this question because at the end of the day, I always feel like it's difficult to generalize generations. If I said, yes, I want to... Right now, I'm imagining there's this fairy godmother and I'm like, I will swap my financial position with someone who is a Gen X or something. And then they swap me out with a Gen X who had terrible financial management. Then
that's true.
So I think at the end of the day is also how you kind of make the best out of your situation. All right, and we've come to the end of the episode. Thank you so much, Jeevan, for joining me. It was so much fun to talk about this. I think ultimately our conclusion after speaking to you today, right, is that it's really up to personal responsibility. It's up to us to equip ourselves, read up about investing and all these things. There is a way to try and learn more about it, especially in this day and age where information is so abundant. And also to be very self-aware when you're being marketed to. Just do your best to save so that you have beep money. All right, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you in another episode of Real Blue Zone. Bye!